Streaming live now on News8000.com. You're watching WKBT La Crosse. This is News 8 Now, this weekend.
Good evening and thank you for watching News 8 Now this weekend. I'm Allison Fergit. A possible water main break forced a Northside La Crosse business to close early today. It happened at the intersection of Rose and Gillette Streets around 8:10 this morning, with water and sand flooding the area. A small flood sent several feet of water into the Tree Huggers cannabis storefront, but the store's co-owners said the water was contained quickly and caused little to no damage.
The sand actually probably saved us as a barricade. As that water was coming, the sand was coming up and created more of a dam to stop the water from majorly leaking in.
Tree Huggers Cannabis remained closed today for cleanup. The business plans to reopen Sunday with regular hours, and today's deals will be honored. City officials have not yet confirmed if there was a water main break, but the intersection does appear to have been cleaned up. La Crescent firefighters are honoring the life of their assistant fire chief. Funeral services were held for 63-year-old Terry Meyer. Meyer joined the fire department in 1999, serving the La Crescent community for more than 25 years with compassion, pride, and leadership.
He was a true brother to our department, and he will be greatly missed. Huge asset, and there will be a void in the city of La Crescent.
Outside of his time with the fire department, Meyer loved gardening, playing cards, relaxing on his front porch, and spending time with his family and friends. The Coulee region celebrated Mon American Day with a special event at the Omni Center. The free event honored the rich culture and contributions of Mon Americans and marked the 50th anniversary of the first Mon arrivals in the United States and La Crosse County. Throughout the day, attendees enjoyed free food, fun family activities, and engaging cultural presentations and performances.
Today is just a time to celebrate, time to enjoy, and a time to just enjoy the fact that it's been 50 years. When I think about going back on how much everything has changed within that 50 years, it's really amazing.
A highlight of the event was the Best Dressed competition, where participants of all ages showcased traditional Mon fashion. Around the state today, Wisconsin's Republican Party is hosting the final day of its state convention. GOP supporters gathered at the Central Wisconsin Convention and Expo Center in Rothschild to talk policy and strategy. Wisconsin's 3rd Congressional District Representative Derek Van Orden spoke at the convention today. He told reporters that Republican policies are winning over younger voters.
So what people don't understand is the youth of this country, they want to live in a free and prosperous society, and the crushing policies of the Biden administration during that COVID foolishness, they're rebelling against it.
During November's presidential election, more UWL students voted for President Donald Trump than in 2020. Republicans are hoping to build on those gains as crucial elections near, like the race for Wisconsin's governor. President Trump is back in the United States after his first foreign trip to the Middle East, but Republican lawmakers are putting the brakes on some of his key tax and budget proposals, saying the plan isn't conservative enough. CBS's Bradley Blackburn is tracking the latest.
President Trump arrived back at the White House late Friday after a 4-day trip to the Middle East.
Hello, everybody.
Earlier on board Air Force One, as he told reporters about his new grandchild.
I have a nice grandchild waiting, which I'll see soon.
The president also confirmed his administration has given Iran a proposed nuclear deal.
They have a proposal, but more importantly, they know they have to move quickly. Something bad's going to happen.
Meanwhile, in Washington, Congress handed the Trump administration's tax and budget bill a setback, with 5 Republicans joining Democrats to stall it in committee.
No. Mr. Roy, no.
The president calls the 1,100-page bill the One Big Beautiful Bill Act. It would extend income tax cuts approved during Trump's first term and institute no taxes on tips and overtime pay. It would also boost spending for defense and border security by hundreds of billions of dollars. But some Republican holdouts want even steeper cuts to government spending and faster reforms to Medicaid.
We are writing checks we cannot cash.
We got a math problem, pure and simple.
Democrats say the bill would be damaging.
It makes health care more costly, food more inaccessible, and college more expensive. And all of this is to give tax breaks to their billionaire buddies like Elon Musk.
Negotiations will continue this weekend with another committee vote planned on Sunday. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Still to come, a policy change with Social Security. Plus, the world's biggest retailer is warning Americans of price hikes. All of that ahead.
The news continues on News 8 Now. Expect more.
The Social Security Administration is dropping a controversial anti-fraud policy that sparked widespread concern among senior citizens. According to an email sent to workers, the agency will no longer hold retirement benefit applications for 3 days to check for fraud. The decision comes as the backlog in retirement benefit claims reached nearly 575,000 applications. When asked about the latest change, a Social Security spokesperson says the agency, quote, continues to refine the anti-fraud algorithm to flag only the claims with the highest probability of fraud. The biggest retailer in the world is planning on raising some of its prices in the next few weeks. Walmart's CEO blamed the hikes on tariffs, saying they're still too high, even with the tax on Chinese imports temporarily lowered to 30%. The retail giant says it will try to spare food prices, but tariffs on some Central and South American countries are putting pressure on items like bananas, avocados, coffee, and roses. But we have more news ahead, but first.
If you haven't noticed it, cooler weather has really settled into the area. I'll have all the details on just how long we're looking to see this cold coming up in the full forecast. After a very warm start to the month, we are much cooler out there now. We're feeling that overnight and throughout the day. Most of the area actually stayed below 60 degrees today, so it was a little chilly out there with that wind as well. But the good news is most of us will get a tad warmer tomorrow, and we're not going to really have to deal with that wind that has been pesky for the last few days. So a bit of good news that we have going, even though it is going to continue to stay a little bit below average. Here's a look at our lows tonight: 46 in La Crosse, 42 in Eau Claire. Some clouds out there, but those winds will start to die down overnight, and it really won't be too bad by the time we wake up in the morning. Highs, we have a little bit of a difference going from north to south, staying in the 50s for areas north of I-94 because we're holding on to some extended cloud coverage out there throughout most of the day. Farther south, we could actually be getting into the mid and upper 60s, which will be a nice change of pace, especially if we can get some extra sunshine poking out later in the day. Additionally, as I said, less wind having to be dealt with, so it'll be a good afternoon to get out and enjoy the cooler temperatures. As we go into Monday, still holding on to those cooler lows, especially for areas north and west of the I-94 corridor, staying into the upper and even mid 30s out there. So definitely going to want to be covering those plants just in case we do have any frost going into Sunday night and Monday morning, and then going into the day Monday, still a little bit cooler out there. Most of the area in the low 60s, some of us maybe even holding on into the upper 50s again. So a cool start to the week, and it's actually going to stay even colder as we go into Tuesday. Look at that high on Tuesday, 54. Right here is that average line, or average high this time of year, 73. So this is a big change up from where we were last week. Well below average on Tuesday because we have showers and extended cloud coverage throughout most of the day. But Wednesday, a big hike in those temperatures, and we'll actually continue to see a gradual climb in temperatures as we go throughout the rest of the week, and even looking into your Memorial Day weekend, we should be getting closer to those average highs again. As far as rain goes, we do have a good amount of showers on the way, especially as I said on Tuesday. That's going to be making that dip in those temperatures. A little bit of a chance to possibly see some of that activity on Monday as that system starts to spread up into Iowa. However, a lot of it is looking to hold off until the overnight period for Monday and even into Tuesday morning. But again, widespread showers possible across the area. We could see a good amount of healthy rainfall, especially for areas south of I-90, maybe even seeing a few more lingering scattered showers going into Wednesday with the 30% chance of rain. But by Thursday, a lot of that system should be out of the area, and we could actually have a decent amount of sunshine poking through to finish the week off before the possibility of some showers move in for the for the Memorial Day weekend. Still some time in question on that, though, if we're going to stay wet or dry. Still holding on to some windy conditions, though. We do have that break, as I mentioned, for tomorrow with a little bit of a lighter wind. These are wind gusts, but we'll get back to those breezy conditions on both Tuesday and Wednesday. And even going into the end of the week. So a little bit of a breezier week out there. Some wetter conditions coming in. That's going to be a big change from how we started the month off. Really, multiple changes from how we started the month off. We started it very warm and very dry, and now we have a very cold stretch coming up and a good chance to get some well-needed rainfall out there. Some areas could see over an inch of rain on Tuesday, so going to be a little bit of a wet one.
Oh, for sure. Well, thanks, Nicole. And coming up next in sports, the MVC Track and Field Championships, plus the UW La Crosse Eagles looking to clinch a spot in the D3 Regional Championship game. Kate has the highlights next.
Covering all of the exciting action from your community. Here's News 8 Now Sports with Kate Overton.
Day 2 of the D3 Baseball Regionals, and UWL has a chance to get in the driver's seat. A win today would put them in tomorrow's championship, where they would need to lose 2 games to be eliminated, but a loss this afternoon would mean an elimination game later this evening. Let's go to Copeland Park. The Eagles taking on Claremont Mud Scripps out of California. First inning, UWL starting hot. Nate Whitty at the plate, and Nate Whitty going deep. A solo shot gives the Eagles a 1-0 lead, but the Stags would catch fire, up 2-1, and Alex Henderson gets all of that baseball deep to right for a solo shot. And then in the next inning, and Carter Bennett is going to do more of the same. Another home run. CMS goes up 4-1. Then in the 5th inning, and with the bases loaded, it's Bennett again. Finds the gap out in right field. 2-run score. Stags go up 5. But here come the Eagles. Anthony Vivian with a line shot out to left field. He's in with a stand-up double. Very next batter, and Luke Walton sends one high and deep to right field. That clears the fence for a 2-run shot. UWL within striking distance. Next inning, and Mac Bourne gets one through the infield. That plates another. Eagles score 7 unanswered runs as they complete the comeback. 8-6 the final. They'll go again in the regional championship game tomorrow at 11 a.m. MVC Track and Field Championship, starting with some high jump. Here's Onalaska's Isabella Malachek. She would take first in the event after clearing 5-2. Then at the long jump pit, it's another hilltopper, McKenna McGarry, with a solid jump. She would go on to win with a mark of 19 feet 3 inches. Let's go to the track. Girls 100 hurdles. And here's Ella Stevens gliding through. She takes first in 15.52. And the boys 110 hurdles, and it's Holman's Jakai Ayed. Nobody near him, finishing in 14.78. 100-meter dash, and it's another Viking, Lydia Lazarescu, crossing the finish line in 12.06. She would also win the 200 and the 400. Boys 100 and another close finish, but that's Rylan Eichhoff crossing in 11 seconds, .03. And in one of the best races of the day, the boys 1,600-meter run. Onalaska's Manny Putz, one of the best distance guys in the state, but Aquinas' Declan Gregg was giving it his all, leading for much of the race, but on the last lap, Manny found another gear, going on to win in 4 minutes, 20 seconds. He would also win the 800 and the 2-mile. Holman would take first in both the boys and girls team scores, while Onalaska would finish in second in both of them. Ooh, what a day.
Yeah, I have to say, this is probably good weather. I wasn't a track athlete, but I feel like a little bit of cooler weather might be better than the 80s that we were seeing.
Much better. You're breathing, you're sweating after every race, a little cool. It was a little windy out there this morning, but
hopefully not as bad as yesterday. I went to my sister's softball game, and that was pretty miserable to sit through. So
I was getting that UWL game yesterday, and that wind was brutal. Today, still a little windy, but not near as bad.
Well, congrats to all those athletes. I mean, they look like they did a phenomenal job. So
all right, we'll have another look at the weather when we come back.
We saw quite the warm start to May. 80-degree days so far throughout the month. 6 in La Crosse, that's tied for the 8th most on record. 8 80-degree days in Eau Claire, that's tied for the 2nd most on record. But it's really going to be hard-pressed to get any more to those tallies now, going through just about the end of May, and we really don't have much left. So not bad once we get to next week.
I don't know. I want the 80s back.
I don't know. I'll enjoy this week while we have it.
Well, thank you for joining us. We'll see you tonight at 10.